Well, folks, just to continue this, yesterday we talked about how the enemy, namely Hamas, is setting the terms of the hostage pause and to some extent the entire war now. This should not have happened. The principal reason Hamas wants to stop the Israeli advance and hide behind the human shield hostages is precisely because Israel was pounding them successfully, using tremendous force in their mission to annihilate Hamas. But now, as Peter Doocy reported, the question becomes, will Israel be allowed to finish the job? Now, I get it, and in fact, I sincerely hope that finishing the job and other matters of war is completely left up to the IDF. But today, more disturbing opinions are entering into the entire discussion. Another hat tip to the Wall Street Journal editorial page for criticizing Senator Chris Murphy of Connecticut. He's the chairman of the Foreign Relations Subcommittee on the Middle East. And they nailed him by saying, quote, "I think you can defeat Hamas without this level of civilian casualties," which he then calls unacceptable. Well, hang on a second. Was October 7th unacceptable? Just asking. Does Mr. Murphy envision a war without casualties? Israel has hit more than 15,000 targets reportedly, and according to Hamas, roughly 14,000 have died. Now, that's a Hamas number, so take for whatever it's worth, but undoubtedly exaggerated, and it never distinguishes between terrorists who lost their life and Palestinian civilians. But it does show the efficiency with which the IDF is conducting this war. And of course, from the left, Bernie Sanders is piling on Israel. Seems like senators are trying to tell the IDF how to fight Hamas. That's called micromanagement. I would also call that insanity. And then, as discussed with our own Peter Doocy, at the top of the Wall Street Journal website comes this news story, and I'll quote, "Negotiators press for long-term Israel-Hamas truce," end quote. In other words, no Israel offensive in southern Gaza to wipe out Hamas. No annihilation strategy. Somehow, negotiators from Qatar and Egypt think we can have a permanent ceasefire, a long-run truce, which means, think about this, Hamas will be right back at it, murdering innocent Israeli grandmothers, wives, husbands, children. They'll be right back at it once again. You know it, folks, and I know it, because they are terrorists, and they do not abide by the laws of humanity, much less something called international law. Now, I don't know if this article has any credibility. As I said, it's at the top of the Wall Street Journal website. It's allegedly a news story, and although it does not say the U.S. has signed off on this crazy idea like a permanent truce, it does suggest that American negotiators are sitting around the table, including Mr. Burns from the Central Intelligence Agency, and also Israelis are sitting around the table. So I am hoping calmer heads will prevail. I am hoping this is a little premature and that nothing like a truce is going to happen, and that Israel will be soon back in the field, if they ever left it, going after the rest of Hamas, wherever they are, in southern Gaza or wherever, to do the job of annihilation, so once and for all, Israel can solve this problem. Meanwhile, as though they got nothing better to do, the White House, President Biden, none of them ever talk about the Americans who are still hostages. And then finally, Iran continues to go on its merry way as the puppeteer and the paymaster. All right? Nothing is done there. It is appeasement, not deterrence. I hope that the IDF does what Israel must do, and do not listen to any of these other nonsensical noises. That's my quick riff. All right?